Guys, so what is up? And obviously we're starting off today's episode with TNA because as of last night, Bobby Roode and Eric Young are no longer with TNA. They finished up their TNA tapings yesterday, and they decided to get a release, so they released them. But the thing is, I think that it's good for TNA to get rid of the older guys, bring in some newer guys, because I've heard Pepper Parks was there with Cherry Bomb. I've heard Andrew Everett came. And that's his name, yeah. Okay. They got Trevor Lee, Mike Bennett. The Decay is doing amazing. EC3, Tyrus, Spud. I think they'll be fine. They do need to try to bring in some more people. And I have heard, spoilers, guys, spoilers. If you don't read the spoilers, sorry about this, but I try not to, but when it's something big, I'll go ahead and look at it. I did hear on Twitter, see on Twitter yesterday, or the day before, that Marcus Louis and Sylvester Lafort, I think that's their names, from NXT, I remember them facing Enzo and Cass, have signed with TNA, and they'll be appearing on an episode in a couple of weeks. I think TNA will be fine. I do think they need to sign a couple more people and try to get them to the level of an Eric Young and Bobby Roode. And I've heard some more news that Matt Hardy might be injured, but I think it's part of the show. I hope he's not injured. I think it's just part of the show. It's probably a work for him and Jeff Hardy's angle they got going on. But yeah, that's it for the news from TNA. Now we go to the review. So this week's Impact was fucking amazing. Drew Galloway, your new World Heavyweight Champion. Yes, finally. I thought this dude deserved it when he first showed up in WWE and was facing John Morrison for the Intercontinental Championship. And it's Drew McIntyre, if you guys don't know. But I saw something in him when he was having those matches with John Morrison because they were so good. I mean, so good. I was like, let's go. He can do it. And then they put him in the fucking 3-man band. What the fuck? And so now, he's in TNA. He's a fucking World Heavyweight Championship holder. And I'm happy as hell to have seen that happen. It was awesome. He cashed in his Feast or Fired briefcase on Matt Hardy after they had one of the craziest triple threat matches ever. It was EC3 versus Jeff Hardy versus Matt Hardy. So the match has been phenomenal. Like, my favorite part was actually when Matt Hardy was, you know how somebody's up against the post and it's Matt and Jeff Hardy. Matt Hardy gets down on his hands and knees and Jeff Hardy's supposed to run off his back. Well, Jeff Hardy said no. EC3 does the EC3 splash, falls down, and Jeff Hardy jumps off his back. I was like, let's go. And then Tyrus and Spud decide to come in when EC3 is probably about to win it, distract him, and EC3 picks up Tyrus on his shoulders. I'm like, okay, this is a great match. And then what I've been waiting on for so long, we get to see happen soon, I hope. Mike Bennett versus EC3. They started it because Eric Young and Bram had took out Jeff Hardy with a fucking pile driver to the outside on concrete. They took up the pad. And then we see Mike Bennett come in and attack EC3, hit him with a chair, take him out to the crowd. And so Matt Hardy's left in the ring. And that sets up Drew Galloway coming in to cash in his Feast or Fire briefcase. And the fans, it's been a while since I've seen the fans of a TNA event that fucking ecstatic and going crazy like that. Yeah, guys, it was awesome. If you have not been watching TNA, I think you should probably give them a chance now because it's getting crazy. Grado beat Eli Drake in an awesome ladder match, I think. It wasn't like a real high-flying match. They did have a couple spots where Grado hit Eli Drake with an electric chair off the top of the ladder. Then, Grado, Mahabali Shira came out to help. So did Jesse Gardner come out to help Eli Drake. And so they're all four of them are outside on the outside, and Grado, well, actually three. Grado's on the top of the ladder. He sees it, gets down, pushes the ladder a little bit closer to the ropes, gets up to the middle ladder, jumps off the ladder, then jumps off the rope onto everybody, and it was pretty cool. It was pretty good to see. And then there was a match where it was Drew Galloway and Gail Kim versus Mike Bennett and Maria. I don't know why I was forgetting. And they had a good match. Mike Bennett and Maria won, with Maria getting a roll-up pin. I think that ended their feud, actually, because I don't think it ended the Maria and Gail Kim feud. I think it ended the Mike Bennett and Drew Galloway feud, because Drew Galloway is World Heavyweight Champion now. So that's what I think about that. It was a good match. And before the show, what's his name? Eddie Edwards got attacked by the Decay, and so that sets up a match where Beer Money and Eddie Edwards versus the Decay, Crazy Steve, Abyss, and Rosemary. Yeah, it was an okay match. That was the worst match of the night, but it still wasn't not a bad match at all. The Decay win with help from Rosemary. Even though she was in the match, I feel like she didn't do much. She just kind of cheated and did like a manager type role still, but the Decay win. Now the first match of the night, which was pretty good, it was Eric Young versus Jeff Hardy, and that match was good. Jeff Hardy, he came in, and everybody knows he's got that leg injury, and he's trying to fight through it. I don't think he should. I think he should rest it up. He signed for a couple more years. Rest it up for this year. Come back and be your best that you've been for a while now. That's what I think should happen. But he's doing to this match, and he hits a swanton bomb. He hits a dive off the like a catapult off the ropes to the outside. Eric Young's flat on the outside, right? Jeff Hardy launches himself over. Eric Young puts his knees up, and Jeff Hardy fucking bounces right off of him. Fans are chanting, "Holy shit!" I was chanting, "Holy shit!" I was like, Jeff Hardy's dead. You fucking just came back from an injury, now you're dead again. But it was a good match. And Dixie said in the beginning, she was like, well, if whoever wins this will be put into the main event. And after their match, Jeff Hardy and Eric Young, which Jeff Hardy won because he was in the main event, Matt Hardy comes out and says, Jeff, heel, go back home and heel. You can have your world title match in 2017, Bound for Glory 2018. And Jeff's like, no, come on now. And he gives him Max, and the fans are chanting, Uncle Jeff. I'm like, what the fuck? And I was like, okay, that is getting kind of crazy. But TNA this week, it was really, really good. I'm happy that their ratings went up. I've heard that it went up to 400K total, and that is a bigger jump from when they were reaching like 250K total. So yeah, Drew Galloway seems like it's bumping up for them, and that's awesome. I'm glad they're moving forward. I know Eric Young and Bobby Roode are going to be a big loss to this roster, but they have guys that they can build off of. They still have James Storm, which they got to do something with him because he signed that big lucrative contract to come back. And then Mike Bennett, EC3, X Division just got to be better. Robbie E, Jesse Goddard, Electric, they got people, and I think they'll be fine. They just got to use them right, and they got to push two people up to the main stardom that EY and Bobby Roode had. So that is my Impact review and wrap up for the first segment of the show. Next, we're going to talk about Monday Night Raw. Alright, guys, so we're talking about Raw now. It wasn't as good as Roadblock, I can tell you that much. I really like Roadblock. The in-ring performances from everybody was great. So they started the show with the New Day. And it's a rematch. Well, it's not a rematch. It's the other half of League of Nation, Rusev and Alberto Del Rio, going up against New Day for the Tag Team Championships. And Sheamus and Wade Barrett at Roadblock had a great match, which I talked about in the review, so y'all should go check that out. It wasn't as good as the Roadblock match. It was a good match, but it wasn't as good as a Roadblock match, I don't think. If they do have a match at WrestleMania, I do hope they pick Sheamus and Wade Barrett. I don't hope they pick Rusev and Alberto Del Rio. I hope they pick Sheamus and Wade Barrett. But I'm pretty sure everybody wants his own cast to be facing them at WrestleMania, the New Day for the Tag Team Championships, but I doubt it'll happen. It'll probably be freaking League of Nations. But the match was good, and after the match, the League of Nations whooped the New Day's ass. So we hear in the background, sorry about that. And yeah, that's what we get about that. Then there was Ryback. They got to do something with Ryback. They got to take him off the air for a long time to let fans forget about him, because I hate watching Raw and all I can hear is Goldberg chants. I know he's acting a lot like Goldberg lately, and for some reason he's letting the fans call him Goldberg by acting like Goldberg. It makes no fucking sense to me. But whatever. He beat Sin Cara in a shitty match. Oh yeah. I think he botched the shell shock, which was dumb. I don't know. I don't want to see that at WrestleMania. I hope Kalisto beats Ryback for that US Championship. I really, really do. It was booty. And okay, there was a Divas match, but I didn't care about that. Who fucking cares? What's going on with Dolph Ziggler? I know they're trying to get him back into the scene, but I don't know why it's with the Authority. It's been so long since he's faced the Authority and shit. Now they're bringing it back when they have Shane McMahon versus Undertaker to get rid of the Authority. Why are they bringing Dolph Ziggler into it? I don't know, but they set up a match. Well, they're out there talking for at least 20 to fucking 30 minutes, I think. It felt like forever with the promo between Triple H, Stephanie, and Dolph Ziggler. Their thing is, if you don't beat Triple H tonight, you will not get a match at WrestleMania. But if you beat Triple H, you can pick whatever match you want besides the WWE Championship match. And I'm like, alright, the match is probably going to be good. So I start the match, I'm watching it, and it goes on for a long time. I'm thinking to myself, why was this not the main event? To be honest, I don't know why it wasn't. It was a really, really good match. I don't think it was as good as Dean Ambrose versus Triple H at Roadblock, but it was damn good. Triple H wins, which we knew he was going to win. They're not changing the WrestleMania match, even though they've made us think they are twice now. I don't think that's going to happen. They had a really good match. It went on for a long time. It shows why Dolph Ziggler should be in the main event. I'm just saying, with all these injuries, you need to push him up to the main event until everybody gets back healthy. Then you can put him into the mid-card and have that strengthened up mid-card that they should have with Cesaro and everybody like that. Because Cesaro's supposed to be coming back in a couple weeks, I've heard. I don't know, but they need to strengthen up the mid-card a lot. And I think Dolph Ziggler is the guy to do it. And then we I don't think we really saw much. We saw the Usos versus what's the fucking name? Social Outcast, and they super kick everybody. You're not the Young Bucks. You need to stop. I'm just saying. And every time I hear JBL said, it's the super kick party. No, the fuck it's not, you fucking bitch. God. Now we go to my favorite match of the night, which was Sami Zayn versus The Miz with Kevin Owens at ringside. This is the match that I am waiting for. I cannot wait to see this match. It is going to be fucking awesome. It's going to be good. So, Sami Zayn versus The Miz was good. The Miz is kind of getting into this matchup. So, Sami Zayn goes outside to the ring, of course, to mess with, him and Kevin Owens start messing with each other. And so we see Miz laid out. Kevin Owens is about to take out Sami Zayn, and Miz comes up, hits him with a forearm from behind, and I'm like, is The Miz really getting into this matchup? I'm fine with it. I don't think it'd be as good as just Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens, which I probably do think they're going to put Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens versus like shit ton of other people at WrestleMania for some dumbass reason. Make this a rivalry match between just the two of them. You can have The Miz in there as like a third wheel, but not in the WrestleMania match. He'll probably get involved after WrestleMania, then kind of be put into the matches. That's what I think. But, the match was good. Sami Zayn wins by kind of a distraction from Kevin Owens and The Miz, basically. Miz gets back in the ring. Sami Zayn hits the hell of a kick. I say hell of a kick. It's supposed to be haluva, but, whatever. PG shit. And that's kind of what we saw. We did see a match between Adrian Neville and Chris Jericho, and this is sad. Adrian Neville gets injured in the match. He messes up his shin bone and ankle, I think, and Chris Jericho got pissy about it. Like, are you fucking kidding me, you fucking bitch? And him and the ref get into it, and you can hear them cussing and stuff, which I thought was pretty funny. And yeah, even though Adrian Neville gets hurt, he goes with a baseball slide kick or whatever, and he hurts his ankle and stuff that way. That was tough to see, because now we've got more injuries to say. We've got Bray Wyatt, now Neville, to add to fucking Randy Orton, Seth Rollins, John Cena, Cesaro. Who else is injured? I mean, come on. Stop getting injured. The injury bug is going around, and it's not great. It fucking sucks for a lot of wrestling fans, including me, because I really like Cesaro and I really like Seth Rollins, and now Bray Wyatt is one of my favorites, and I'm like, God, come on now. You cannot be injuring every fucking body. Come on. And that was the last match of the night. Yay. I guess. What the fuck? The Dolph Ziggler and Triple H match should have been the main event, which we sit to see with this dumbass segment between Vince McMahon and Undertaker and Shane McMahon, which Shane McMahon kept calling the Undertaker a bitch. I'm like, you're gonna die, sir. You're dead. Wait until WrestleMania, you're dead. In which they start fighting, and Shane McMahon gets out of the chokeslam, and he's going with these fucking punches and shit. And then all of a sudden, Undertaker gets out of the corner, and fucking Vince McMahon pushes Shane into Undertaker and gets hit with a clothesline. And that ended the show. It was good. Monday Night Raw was good. Not as great as Roadblock. I really did like Roadblock. And so now we go to the news. We've kind of already said two things, which was Bray Wyatt getting injured and Neville. But I think I've heard, if you watch anybody on YouTube, if you fucking see anything on Google, you know that there is something's been said that we know that Wade Barrett's leaving in the summer, and now there's somebody else supposedly putting in his resignation. It's a guy that it's either the guy that the fans want to see leave because he's really good and he doesn't get a chance, or they want to see him leave because they don't like him. So it's one of the two. I'm waiting to see who it is. I'm pretty sure you guys are too. But that is our segment for Monday Night Raw. I did not watch SmackDown. I don't think I really give a shit about SmackDown anymore. But they should bring the brand split back. But the next segment we're going to talk about is Lucha Underground, in which this week's episode was great. Alright, what is going on? Why did I say that? Like, we just restarted the show. No, we didn't. This is just Lucha Underground segment. I gotta get better at doing this. Okay, so Lucha Underground this week. To be honest, I didn't really watch it. I kind of watched, or fast forwarded through most of it. But I do know that we have new Lucha Underground Trios champions. And Tejano beat Chavo, and the crew left Chavo out there to get his ass beat, which I thought was pretty good. And Angelico and his team, Son of Havoc and Evil Ace, won back the Trios championships over the Disciples of Death. And then we get to one part of the show which I'm really happy about, is where they start talking about Aztec Warfare 2. And I'm like, okay, I'm ready for this. That's why I didn't really watch this. I was like, I'm just ready for Aztec Warfare. Like, to be honest, I really don't care. And they had Shawn Rey Mysterio and that other guy, which I do not know his name still. They get invited to Aztec Warfare. So Rey Mysterio is going to make his Lucha Underground debut next week in Aztec Warfare. And I'm pretty happy about that. That's going to be freaking awesome. I think it's going to be great. Main event was a great match. It was fucking awesome. I did watch all that match. I always watch the main event. Lucha Underground is pretty cool. We saw Phoenix, my favorite in Lucha Underground, versus Mil Muertes. Phoenix cashed in his Get to the Gods title match opportunity, and he got it. And fucking Phoenix won. Let's go. I'm fucking happy. The fans are drowning him, fucking chanting Phoenix, Phoenix, Phoenix. And then fucking what's her name? Katrina gets on the mic and says next week's Aztec Warfare will now be for the Lucha Underground Championship, and Phoenix will start number 1 and Mil Muertes will start number 20. Who is ready for next week's Lucha Underground? I am. I think it's going to be great. So that's all I really got to say about Lucha Underground this week. I know I probably should watch it more. That's probably what I'm going to do next week. And in which we've got something else to talk about before I wrap up this show. It's something I forgot to say in the Impact part of the show. It's pretty sad to see and pretty sad to hear, but let's get right into that. Alright guys, so this is what I forgot to talk about for Impact this week. It's kind of been already talked about, and I just wanted to talk about it. I was going to make a whole video about it, but I decided to wait until this happened. So, Mr. Anderson of TNA, formerly known as Mr. Kennedy, did get released for drugs. He had a match with Eric Young, which was said to be so bad that they had to remove it from TNA Impact for that week. That is sad to hear. That is really sad to hear. Mr. Anderson has always been one of my favorites because he's so charismatic. He is something in wrestling that has been overlooked. He was overlooked in WWE. He wasn't really overlooked in TNA. They gave him 2 World Heavyweight Championships. I think he's fine. His legacy in TNA will be good for sure, but not in WWE. I really feel like they missed their opportunity with Mr. Kennedy, and that was pretty sad to hear. But I hope he gets to go back somewhere and work again. I hope he gets over whatever the hell he's got going on right now. I don't know, but Mr. Anderson, when he had his phase where he was an asshole, it was really cool in TNA. I felt like TNA gave him the ball to run with it in a couple years ago, and he really showed he was really, really good. But he's older now, and I don't know if WWE will even give him a chance. And that's the same, I think, with Bobby Roode and Eric Young. I don't think WWE is going to be able to give him a chance because they're an older group of wrestlers. And so I don't know. I think they'll probably go to GFW for sure. It probably makes sense. That's where they're going to go. Global Force Wrestling, Jeff Jarrett's promotion. That's not even on TV yet. When the fuck will it be on TV? But I think that's going to wrap up the show this week. Not as long as an episode if I wanted it to be, but I kind of said everything I wanted to say. Next week, we're going to try to add in ROH and New Japan, which I have not watched the new episodes yet, but they will be in next week's episode for sure. After this, in a couple of hours, after this is uploaded, I am going to start my MLB divisions predictions, like who I predict will win each division out of the MLB's AL and NL. So that should be something you should be looking out for. It's going to be just like MLB The Show 15 and me talking about who's going to win each division, my predictions. I think that's going to do it for this episode. Like, subscribe, and comment. I am out. Tell me what you think of the new format.